G'day and welcome to SAFC Media for the 2021 pre-season update. Appreciate all your questions to Gibba and I. First of all, Emily West and Chris Garasaya both say hi and welcome to the Panthers.
Thanks Emily and Chris, thanks for having me this year. Boof, this is from Finn Diesel. What can we expect from Fraser, Turner and Mitch ONeill this year?
Yeah, good question, Finn. We're expecting obviously a lot of run from both these players. Fraser Turner just come out and won our 2K and 1K time trial on Monday night when he's fresh off the plane from Tassie. Really quality runner, really good winger, can get back in the back play of half-back flank. Obviously he's been at the Richmond Tigers the last 2 years, who won back-to-back premierships and unfortunately was a pretty tough side to break into. Mitch ONeill has also been at a quality team this year in West Coast Eagles. He's an inside mid, really quality decision maker and ball user, and was all Australian in under 17s and under 18s years the past 2 years. So they're both only 19 and 20, so they're going to really mould into our youth brigade with Samson, Bogle, Milsom, Tucker, Demesny, and those types to really inject some more youth into the team. So obviously we can't put too much expectation on them as they're still young, but we're expecting some really strong performances from them this year. And we'll go into Jai Nyland now, Gibba. Who is the 18 to 23 year olds that have most impressed you in your short time here at the club so far?
Thanks for the question. I think there's some great kids coming through the system. And a part of my role here at the footy club will be working with that crop of young guys coming through from the under 18s program, which are now in the senior program. So getting to know those guys on a personal level and trying to help develop them. Probably the most obvious one is Jason Horn. He's got some big raps on him and he's obviously a great talent. So looking forward to working with him over the course of the year, and no doubt he'll probably teach me a thing or two, so I'm looking forward to it. This question, Buffer, is from Jai Nyland. Are we still on the hunt for a key forward, or do we have anyone else that is looking to step up this year?
Yeah, good question, Jai. Obviously, big men up front are hard to come by, and we've got a couple of good quality players in Alex Collotto and Sam Overall that are doing the job pretty well at the moment. Obviously we'd like some more support for them down there, and we're really hopeful that Damon Freitag and Daniel Slater-Jevic can continue their development. They had a bit of an injury interrupted season last year and in their 19th year, but certainly showing signs of some really good development. Damo's 200 centimetres and is a really agile key forward ruck, and Daniel Slater-Jevic is probably more your third tall forward option at around 192. So we're hopefully they can step up and help pinch hit it at some stage this year. You never know what's around the corner in regards to big key recruits, but unfortunately at the moment we don't have anything coming through. But one thing we were really good at last year was our score involvements and our scoring rate. We were number one team for scoring last year, so hopefully we can continue that trend with our current forward line set up.
Might have to sneak down there myself and try and pluck a few.
Yeah, it would be nice. All right, this next question is from Alex Antich to you, Gibba. Can I start off by saying the colours definitely suit you, and what's it like at South Adelaide, and what has impressed you the most so far?
Yes, so I certainly agree. Been used to wearing the navy blue for a number of years, so it's good to be back in the colours. I've loved it since I started a couple of weeks before Christmas down here at the Panthers. I didn't know anyone, I knew one player, that was Paul Hunter. Obviously had a relationship with him at the Crows, but other than that I didn't really know anyone at the footy club, so it's been great to come here and meet a whole lot of new people, both players, staff and people that work at the footy club. So I've been really impressed just with how hungry the playing group are. Obviously coming off a pretty good campaign last year and just fell short of making a grand final, and what I've seen so far in the couple of weeks that I've been involved is that the players are really driving some high standards and training hard and looking forward to go one better next year, so that's probably impressed me the most so far. Buffer, this question's from Grant Miles. Where do we need to improve in 2021 to take the next step from the 2020 prelim and hopefully make a grand final?
Yeah, thanks Milesy for the question. Look, obviously statistically we were really strong in all phases of the game in 2020. I think we're number 1 and 2 rated for most offence and defence and stoppage work. Obviously there's still some organic growth in this group with being a really young team. I think we had 7 players under the age of 21 or 20 in that prelim side, and we've obviously got some more youth coming through with Fraser Turner, Mitch ONeill, Jake Tarker's back into the club, who are all still 20 years old. So hopefully there's some organic growth in those players to help us continue our development curve. Certainly, probably what we did fall short on was a bit of experience around the ball in the prelim. Eagles had a really experienced midfield in regards to age, quality, and obviously games played at sample levels. So obviously the recruit of the big fella next to me here will hopefully improve. We certainly will improve that experience around the ball, and obviously we only had Paul Hunter for the back half of the year. So having Paul for a full 18 games, working with our connections with our mids, will hopefully certainly propel us one step further in 2021. So this next question is for Gibba, and it's from Jags Mitch. What was it like playing AFL football, and how intense was it?
Thanks for the question, Jags Mitch. Very, very lucky and fortunate to been able to have a 14-year career in the AFL. Obviously a childhood dream, and yeah, I was just hoping to play a couple of games, let alone play 14 years. So yeah, certainly very lucky, and it was pretty intense. Sort of when I first started, it wasn't as intense as it is now. It's sort of every year it seems the game seems to be getting quicker and faster. So yeah, as you get older, it gets a little bit harder to keep up with some of these young guys. But yeah, it's certainly the game's at a very intense and high level at the moment, and lucky that we're able to train as a full-time job to keep our skills up and keep our work rate up to be able to perform in these games. So yeah, very fortunate to carve out 14 years. Well, this question's from Craig Pett. Hi Jarrad, hopes were high last year after we finished the minor round so well and had a good win against Glenelg in the first final. Do you think the disappointment of bailing out in the prelim will add more incentives leading into the 2021 campaign?
Yeah, thanks for the question, Craig. Yeah, obviously there was a lot of disappointment with not making a grand final in 2020 after we had such a really good build-up, in the back half of the year and certainly in that first final against Glenelg. What we did do, we left it settle for a week after the prelim loss, and everyone just gathered their thoughts and had some self-reflection, and we come back as a group a week later and had a really good, vulnerable, open conversation about, I guess, how we performed individually, how we performed as a team, and there was some really good conversation that come out of that, and we certainly walked out of that room with a lot of excitement and hope with what this group can deliver. Not only in 2021, but years beyond that, with such a really good youthful team coming through, and we certainly closed the door on that chapter. So there's no hard feelings, or there's certainly nothing lingering around in regards to having to look back on that prelim. But certainly there will be a driving factor in regards to what we can achieve as a group and moving forward. And like Bryce mentioned earlier, in regards to what's impressed him most so far in being at the club, is that the leadership group and the players have got a really high standards that they're driving in a really strong culture at the moment. So the boys come back really fit, raring to go, and we're certainly looking forward to the next 8 weeks of pre-season and getting stuck into games. This next question is from Lucas1311 to Gibba. Who has the longest kick in the footy club?
That's a great question, Lucas. Still trying to work that out at the moment, but what I did see the other day is our little skipper Joel Cross loaded up a big barrel from the centre square, and luckily down out here at the Panther Park gets windy a little bit, so he certainly used the wind to his advantage and nearly put it through the sticks from halfway. So he's had the biggest kick I've seen, even from those little legs. So He's my tip so far. Boof, this question's from Steve Maroka. Hi Boof, so happy that you can continue to blood some youth and talent. Who's the next crop that are coming through? And will we see some more young guys getting opportunity this year?
Yeah, great question, Steve. Yeah, obviously we did lose some talent in the draft, and that's what the draft's for, and it shows that we're running a really good junior academy program with Mark Clayton. You know, had another two drafted from our junior system, and we've been, you know, fortunate enough to have another 2 drafted from our senior system, which is proving that as a club we're running a really strong program. And in regards to our youth coming through and the younger guys that are stepping up, you know, we've still got some really good growth in players that are probably playing league football at the moment. You know, Hayden Sampson, Reece Milson are still only 20 years old, but they've played, you know, 30 odd games of league football now. So there's still a lot of growth in those players to come as they mature into SANFL football. Luke Bogle showed, you know, in his last sort of 5 or 6 games of the year this year that you know, he's going to be a really strong competitor and have a really long SANFL career, and you know, his leadership qualities are really starting to develop, and we're, you know, really hopeful over the next couple of years he can put his foot forward in regards to more strength and leadership work throughout the club. You know, Darnell Tucker unfortunately got injured in his first league game last year and was playing a really good game out at Centrals, and all these players are under the age of 20. And unfortunately, Zach Demesny didn't get drafted after having a really solid year at league level for the first 7 or 8 games this year. So he's one that's come back in really good shape after obviously being disappointed and missing out in the draft. And I think he's top 3 or 4 in regards to the fitness work that we're time trials at the moment. And then we've got, you know, the likes of Jason Horn, Matty Roberts, Arlo Draper that are still under 18s this year. That, you know, obviously Jason will be playing most likely league football for the whole year, but we've got some really good talent coming through our pathway. There's some really good under 18s that have come up into the program this year that are still just transitioning into the program. And then, you know, Jake Tarker, Damon Freitag, Daniel Slater-Jevic, you know, who are all 20 years old, that should get some really strong opportunity playing league football this year. So yeah, we've got some exciting youth coming through, and with a good mix of experience, and hopefully that puts us in good stead for 2021. Thanks for joining us on SAFC Media for the 2021 pre-season update. Really appreciate the questions. Hopefully Gibba and I have answered them, you know, with the best of the ability, but certainly make sure you get on the Panther train for 2021 and buy a membership. Hopefully we have a really successful year.
Go Pants.